Hey there and welcome to Japan Online. Well, the video you're looking at is one of the many emergency drills, events we'll call them, that we go through each year in Japan. This was taken a couple of years ago where this helicopter came in and picked up someone and then took them off. And this is to prepare the people that may have to deal with a helicopter coming in to pick up people who have been injured in a natural disaster, like an earthquake or a tsunami or something like that, and so that they have the knowledge and they can set up the procedures that they would need to in the event of a helicopter coming in. And that's probably one thing that you notice, say, between Japan and in particular my home country of New Zealand, where 5 years ago Christchurch in particular had a deadly, devastating earthquake which killed about 200 people. They don't have the level of readiness, the level of preparation that Japan does, and that's probably one of the reasons why a lot of their buildings had fallen down. A lot of there was a high number of fatalities and injuries, because they're not as prepared as, say, Japan is. And of course we're looking at a country of 5 million people in New Zealand compared to 130 million here in Japan, or give or take a million or two. But this is all in relation to the earthquakes that have been happening in Kumamoto in Kyushu of south part of Japan, where they've gone through a number of deadly earthquakes over the last few days, and it is terrifying. It is it's something that no human being wants to go through. But of course, if you're going to live in Japan, you must be prepared for such a thing, because Japan is probably one of the hot spots of the Ring of Fire, where they have at least 3 earthquakes a day throughout the country, and probably one sizable earthquake each year. And then of course you get the bigger ones like the Fukushima or the Tohoku earthquakes. And of course the area that I'm living in, where this video is taken, we're expecting our own deadly earthquake that is expected to kill thousands of people, and displace millions of people from their homes, and buildings will collapse like nothing. And of course we're talking between Shizuoka Prefecture and Tokyo. And of course Tokyo has a population of, depending on what you say, the area you talk about, the metropolitan area has about 50 million. Then Shizuoka, and Yamanashi, another 10 million there. So we're looking at 60 million people that could be affected by this big earthquake, and we're already 40 to 50 years overdue of when it's sort of supposed to hit. And so we go through these procedures every two to three times every year in preparation for that. And we also have the oldest nuclear power station just nearby, with Mount Fuji just in between us and Tokyo, which they say will probably erupt because of the size of the earthquake that we're expecting. And of course we're expecting a tsunami that will arrive in, say, less than 5 minutes. So it's not probably the best place to come and live, I know, but I didn't know it at the time, but now I do, and I'm sort of expecting this. And each day that you go through things like, where's the best evacuation exit, or a place to evacuate, where's the nearest hill, all this kind of stuff, just in the back of your mind there, so you're prepared for such a thing. But of course nothing really prepares you for the actual event. Depending on the size or what happens around you, you can only really sort of go with the flow, or go with the shaking, and hope for the best, that you're in a place that is as safe as possible. And that's probably, say, the difference between, say, Shizuoka, Tokyo, and Kumamoto, where the actual earthquake has recently happened. Kumamoto itself, or Kyushu itself, is, well, it's actually on a fault line. It's not one that erupts that often and at this size. I don't think in my 15 years I've actually heard of an earthquake in the Kyushu region. I've heard of, of course, a little bit below it, but maybe there was one about 4 years ago, but that was sort of a bit south of Kyushu, but generally you don't really hear about it. It's more closer to Kobe, Shizuoka, Tokyo, and of course up towards Fukushima or Tohoku. So the buildings are not as probably built to the strength needed. That's why you're seeing a lot of old buildings falling down. But still, it doesn't matter where you go, you're going to see a lot of old buildings and a lot of destruction in such a shallow earthquake like they have seen in Kumamoto. So it is, it's a sad event that in Japan happens too frequently. I don't know why anyone thought, hundreds of years ago, they thought that this place would be a great place to live. I don't know, when it was shaking all the time and there was tsunamis all the time, why they would build nuclear power stations in certain areas, I don't know. I think nuclear power is good, but where they actually build this is another story. But I'm not going to get into that argument here. But at the end of the day, Japan is probably one of the most prepared or readiness countries for earthquakes. And so when you compare the Ecuador earthquake and the Kumamoto earthquake, while it's not so easy to see on TV, although I did see a video where the earthquake happened the day before, and they already had cranes, bulldozers, machines to lay new tar seal down. They were clearing away a road because they were ready to get it laid again, because that's how ready they are. They know that this road is a main road to get into such an area. They need to be prepared if this road is destroyed or there's some destruction or mudslide or anything. They need to get it ready so that they can get vehicles in. And we look at Ecuador, or Christchurch or anything. They're really, it's going to be weeks before they even think about doing any repairs like that, or thinking. They're more just worried about getting people out and sort of surviving that way. Where Japan, it hasn't even finished, and they're getting in there trying to shift dirt away from the roads and repair them and whatnot, because they're that ready. And this is why you're sort of seeing this video here, because like I said, every year they have 2 to 3 earthquake or disaster drills, not only in the community but at schools throughout Japan. And so they make it's such an important part of their culture to be as prepared as fully as possible for such a natural disaster like we saw 5 years ago in Fukushima, and of course recently, of course, in Kumamoto. So. And of course, this is just my opinion, my experiences of what I've experienced living here in Japan on a daily basis, seeing the way Japanese people, go through earthquakes, natural disasters, and how they prepare for it. I hope you enjoyed that, and thank you very much for watching and listening. So, of course, as always, if you haven't already, click on the big red button there and subscribe to the channel. To the left there, there's a couple of videos that you might enjoy. The top one there is an actual earthquake simulator, and the bottom one there is some stickers that have been, since the Tohoku earthquake, they've been putting around buildings, lampposts and whatnot of the level that point is above sea level, in case we do have a tsunami coming and hitting this area, so you know that you're going to be only 9 meters above ground level, so it could get here. But anyway, check out those 2 videos, and of course, if you do like the video you just watched, or like listening to the video you just watched, leave a like. If you didn't like it, thumbs down, whatever, I don't care. I really appreciate any of your opinions. And of course, if you do have an opinion, thoughts, whatever, leave it in the description below. We'd love to hear your thoughts about the video, the topic at hand, and whatnot. And of course, as always, we do appreciate your support. So if you can, share the video with your family and friends on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, wherever. It's really appreciated. And of course, as always, thanks for watching. Later.